Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, 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 yeah. We're doing some love morning. Love morning now. We're doing love morning. Gonna show you how. Trying to get the live broadcast going. Looks like we are doing it now. And if I have to rhyme how again, someone's gonna have a cow. Love morning, do 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 do. Love morning now, do 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 do. Love morning is here, do 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 do. Give me your little ear, do 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 do. Hi, good morning. Hi, good morning. Welcome. We are getting started with a love morning. I am John. I am Halcyon. I am John Stin. I am John Halcyon Stin. My name's Smuggies. Captain Happy Pants. Not a Captain, Commander Happy Pants. I didn't get demoted. It's just been a while since I've gone by that name. So we are live. Good morning, Doran. Good morning, Etoile. And good morning, Lunamelt. Yay. Wonderful to see you all. We are live on YouTube and on Facebook right now, which is how I've been doing it lately when I can, when I got the technology working. So we are gathering, we are focusing on this day ahead, who we want to be. We want to be focused on opportunities to connect, opportunities to be kind, opportunities to be present, and looking for things that we're grateful for. And then if we can remember, share them here. So if you are grateful for anything, I would love to hear about it. I am grateful to be here as well, as Etoile and Luna also said. I am grateful that right before this, I had a talk with my brother on the phone. He has been in Ohio at his father-in-law's funeral. And so I've been thinking about him, and it was really nice to catch up. And so I'm grateful that I got off the phone to get here because this is important to me. It's an important practice, and it's important for me to spend the morning connecting with you. Good morning, Carol. What is today? Thursday. Boy, I am grateful for trust and surrender and intuition. I'm grateful for honesty, and I was given a book. I don't have it here, but it's about kind of about this kind of really pursuing a radically honest form of intimacy, and which is something I think it's part of my practice. Letting go of what you think they want of you, or what you think they want to hear, and instead just trusting that whatever reaction the very raw, honest truth has, that reaction, even if it leads to struggle or frustration or anger, that it will lead to a place of peace, and trusting that people can go through their process instead of trying to protect them from that temporary negative feeling. It's tough, Nobody wants people they love to be upset or angry at them or sad or hurt. But there's lots of things that we go through that we might have a triggered response to something, but that doesn't mean that is the final or our true or deep, that's not where we land, such as like you can have a jealous feeling, but then when you sit with it, you're like, I know where their heart is. Why? It's okay that I had this like frustration or anger or self-doubt in the moment, and I worked through it. But if you don't share information with the person because you want to protect them from that feeling of jealousy, they never get to process through and land on the truth, which is how they their genuine response. And then you find you're trapped living in a place of trying to make decisions and respond to a falsehood. I'm not sure if this is making sense, but it does to me in this moment. Good morning, Doran. Doran is grateful for their kids, their partner, their ex, and their kid's dad. Their dogs, their friends, their home, themselves, and their journey in this world. Wonderful list. Luna says, oof, that is so relevant for me right now. I'm trying to resist swooping in and fixing something for someone I love who's going through some things. Yeah, there's a big difference between loving someone enough to trust their process and being attached and worrying about them and trying to fix something for them. It's a very common misunderstanding or mislabeling, misinterpreting of love, or I think a misguided response. Supporting someone, being there and available for help, available for support, available for resources, available for guidance, and to be an aid to someone is an incredibly loving thing to do. To try to protect and fix a problem for someone, there is an element of non-love in that. It is an element of mistrust. There's an element that says, I do not believe that the path ahead of you is right for you. I don't believe you can do it. I don't believe that you can handle it. And so I am going to interfere in your path, even though you didn't specifically ask me. Well, and even if they do specifically, that's conditional. It's like if someone is continually making money mistakes and they ask you for more money, you sometimes have to go like, I wish I could, or I could, but I won't, because I think that you can figure this out on your own. Etoile says, yes, protecting someone may rob someone from their emotional response and maybe their coping skills. Yes, that is one of the really, I think, tough truth bombs about people pleasing, is that you rob people of the opportunity to respond or even love who you really are, because you're trying to be and do and what you think is the right thing, and then somebody is interacting with this facade, this character, or these decisions that are not actually maybe completely in your truth. Good morning, Bill. Hello to you. Good morning. And good morning, Carol. Carol's grateful for another day, for her family and her pup, Kismet, that she was able to get up and do some yard work before it got hot outside. Ooh, where are you that it's so hot? It's interesting. I heard someone in Gratitude yesterday talked about like softball-sized hail in their neighborhood. Someone else said it was over 100 degrees. It has been some sun and some overcast here in San Diego. That's where I am. Jeff Wilson, hello. Jeff is grateful for friends, lifelong and new. Grateful for peanut butter pretzels. Grateful for Oakland adventures this week, and grateful for the love that I put in the world. Thanks, Jeff. Thanks for being here. And thanks for sharing. Good morning, Emily. Emily's grateful to wake up, grab the phone, and see me. Oh, Emily, I'm so glad you're in the world. You Fierce Ninja. I think I saw that I had a voice message from you that I did not. I saw it just now, and I look forward to hearing your voice. I am grateful for the show Chimp Empire on Netflix. I've been listening to it just a little bit each night. The pacing of it, I find it eases me into sleep, but the content of it I just find so soul nourishing to witness these intelligent, emotional, loving primates. It's really beautiful. Aaron, good morning. Grateful for you too, and I love you too. Carol's in Illinois. It's not bad, but with the hazy sky from the wildfires. That's right, I've been reading about that. Emily says, I'm grateful for being 7 days off coffee and noticing a huge shift in how much better my nervous system feels. Oh, bravo. I have let the coffee creep back in. Not a lot. Like, I'm drinking half and half right now. But I did, now that I think about it, I did have like half of a 4-hour energy yesterday in the afternoon before I recorded a podcast. We did a new episode of Stay Sparked, which I'm grateful for that. I did the article, or the episode, which is live now on Spotify and Apple Podcasts and anywhere you get your podcasts. Stay Sparked. You should look it up by Stay Sparked. And the new episode is about men's and women's groups. And maybe I'll ask your opinion on if you have feedback on this. Just how we started the recording and then realized, you know what? How do we refer to men's and women's groups? What's the right way to say that? Gender exclusive gatherings, gender exclusive support groups. Because really we talked about the value of getting together as men or getting together as women. And we, as the hosts, are men and women. That's how we identify, so that's what we're talking from. But we also wanted to have that conversation and acknowledge that not everybody identifies like that. So I think we did an okay job. But I'm always a little concerned that when you tread in an area that is triggering for people, that it's you're almost doomed to have somebody who gets offended. So far I have not seen any raging emails or messages from people who said, how dare you talk about men's and women's groups and not talk about other gender-based groups. But it's a good episode. I think that if you are in a men's or women's group or a non-binary group, or you've thought about being in one, or you've not been in one, I think any of those categories, I think you'll find interesting insights. And if you're not in one and never been in one, you might even be inspired to start one and get together with people of your gender and talk about all topics or a specific topic. Because there's something, I think, a container with people with shared experiences is a really powerful thing. It's not too different from the shared experiences of the gratitude circle. And it made me think of, maybe do I want to start a gender-specific gratitude circle? I follow a guy, and actually I've gone to workshops with a guy online who he leads women's only seminars. And I'm like, a guy leading a women's only seminar, is that okay? I mean, that feels a little like, maybe I don't know. I mean, it's not like, and they're not about, sexuality or pickup artists or relationships. I could see how maybe women would want to hear from a man about the men's perspective of relationships, but to create a safe container for women led by a man, maybe that's my issue. Good morning, Lorian. Emily's saying you've been doing matcha green tea lattes. All right. That's a good suggestion. Thank you. Emily saying, I tend to find that dating a man in a men's group has been something that is a green flag for me to continue to go deeper with that individual in a relationship. Right? Continuing that he is more accountable to his different parts in behavior. Yeah, I think there's this episode we talk about it, but men's groups was really how, and it's interesting, my co-host Yanis, he started the first men's group I was ever in, which was like 12 years ago, something like that. I barely knew him then, but I knew I respected him and I wanted to join this group of men in my community. And there was something about witnessing peers acknowledge struggles and uncertainty that is just, I'd not seen that publicly from men before. And the support that they gave to one another and the acknowledgement of, like, me too. Yes, I also do not know about that. I also go through that in my marriage. I also worry about this for my family or for my future or for my finances. I also, like, it is such, like, I mean, it's the reason why I like to do groups of the Pink Path, because just the fact of knowing that your shame or your weaknesses are not isolated to you, when you realize, oh wow, this is a common thing, that in and of itself is so healing. There's no comments in YouTube. I wonder if that's accurate. Let me just refresh this page just in case. I guess so. All right, no problem. Wendy says, in my women's group, we talk about our monthly cycles and menopause closing in, how we feel as we can no longer create life, how to deal with those emotions. Nice. How cool that's something that, I mean, obviously the things and the tone and the format of groups is different, and certainly different between different gender groups. Like, Betsy was sharing, in her women's groups, there's often song and poetry, and that is not something that has ever been a part of my men's groups. Emily's saying, normalizing struggles instead of hiding, and then those behavior sabotaging and acting out in destructive ways and destroying our relationships. Yeah. And there's just something, I mean, one of the reasons we share gratitude here is because each of us only has access to the lives that we are living. But you can magnify your appreciation, the lessons, the wisdom of your life by listening to what other people are doing, if they're sharing from the heart their truth. So hearing about someone's gratitude, hearing about someone's struggle, like, you get to magnify your experience of life. You get to leave, in a way, multiple lives. That's massive. Luna says, it makes me so sad for men that y'all are usually denied this experience of talking about your struggles together. I feel like I've done that my entire life with other women, and it's so essential to who I am. It's certainly, I think, more difficult to find the safe venues to do that. And I think there does feel like there's more risk for a man to admit weakness. You don't want to be weak or, called names. But in the right groups, you can be strong and weak. You can acknowledge struggle and confidence. You can, and I think that's one thing that I try to practice and I try to role model is, like, I am humaning as best I can. And I have a lot of experience and I have a lot of wisdom and I have a lot of uncertainty. And the fact that I am clueless about some things and I fail at some things and I struggle and have trauma and all these things, if I can own that and acknowledge that as part of my human experience, and it allows me to ask for help in those places, and it humanizes me so that the people in my life, including you, can see through that this is a real human, which is a real human who is also making it through life. That's fucking a badass achievement. A false persona that is pretending to succeed at life, we might, applaud and cheer the superhero on the screen, but that's not real. The real superhero is the one who says, I'm broken, I'm flawed, I'm slowly working on my cracks, I'm slowly healing my wounds, all while surviving and thriving, all while trying to increase the love that I put in the world, all while trying to lift up the people around me, all while trying to lift up and heal and grow myself. That's not weakness. That's a badass. And the more I grow, the more like those are the people that I am inspired by. I saw a meme yesterday with something like that. Like, no, I'm going to mess it up. But it's like working on growth while handling your shit. Like, so that you don't become someone who traumatizes others and, you break these cycles. Like that's the hero. Hello, Mingle. Mingle is sending love from Kansas City. And John, hello to you. Good day to you. Mingle saying, gratitude that I caught a foul ball at the Royals baseball game last night. Bucket list experience. Nice. Emily, connection, community, collaboration. Let's go. Yes, you may have noticed, but I am a big believer in creating containers and community. This to me is a group. I know in this scenario it's just me broadcasting and you are speaking in text and comments, but there's a reason why I'm not making TikTok videos where it's just one way. This is different for me, although now that I think about it, I should probably make TikTok videos. However, the reason why this is so important to me is because belonging, feeling that you belong, feeling that you are a part of community is I think it's the most powerful medicine. When you feel that you are safe and you belong, you allow yourself to be. You allow the truth of who you are, your authentic self, to blossom. And that is the only journey, the only game worth playing. It's the only adventure worth really pursuing, is allowing yourself to be who you are. But you need to feel safe. You need to feel like you belong. My friend Ladybug sometimes says when people seek out counseling, she says to them, do you need therapy or do you just need community? That's kind of the theme of this week's Stay Sparked episode. So I encourage you to give that a listen and let me know what you think. And leave a review. We've been reading people's reviews on the air. So if you want to hear your name on the podcast, leave us a review on Apple Podcasts, and we might name drop you and read your review. Good morning, Mike. Mike hit 90 days today. Congratulations. Celebrated by going on roller coasters for 9 hours at Six Flags. Fuck yeah. Emily's saying healing generational trauma. Yes, let's go, baby. I never really understood generational trauma. I actually, for a long time, I thought that was a woo-woo thing that was more in like epigenetics, things like in your genes, your great-great-grandfather was eaten by a bear, so your generational trauma is you're afraid of bears. But that's not what it means. At least that's not how it means that your great-great-great-grandfather was scared, and so he acted out in angry ways and scared his kid, and that kid raised a kid that he scared or hurt, and then that kid developed ways to deal with that fear and hurt and passed that on in the way that their trauma manifests, in the way that they treated the people in their lives. And then you find yourself here, and you've got a parent that has these generations of responding as best as people can to the limited resources, emotional resources, or of their parents. It's nothing. There's no finger pointing. It's just the way survival works. And so we inherit these survival patterns that we don't need in the modern world. And so our generation says, I want more than survival. I want peace. I want to be an open-hearted being of love. I want to be a love ambassador. And to do that at my potential, I need to figure out what those traumatic generational things that have landed in me, what that makes me act in fear places or act out or freeze, or what is that stuff that has affected me because of that lineage of survival. I know I'm going to survive. So with that safety, with the container of community, with the belonging, can I find safe enough places to dig in and heal these wounds? And I feel like my experience over the last 3.5 months is that it's possible. And we're so blessed to live in a world where we have the information, we have the support, we have the examples, we have the role models, we have the resources, we have the abundance, that inner work is a possibility, a very real possibility. That's amazing. Thank you, Luna. Yes. Hey, Gerbot. Gerbot says, the superhero is the one that is brave and honest enough to share their struggles with the world. And also saying, groups of people are the most powerful force in the world. Well said. I should really record these morning things, because there's probably was a good TikTok video in there somewhere, right? Oh well. I'm not a very good... For someone who is on social media so much, I could be better at it. Better meaning, using it and growing and using it as a marketing thing more. Whatever. I'm probably the reason I'm not is probably because of generational trauma. I need to heal my fear of taking up too much space, maybe. Laura says, this reminds me of the book I talked about and bought. Nicole Dyer, maybe? I don't think I have a Nicole Dyer book. Maybe a Wayne Dyer book? I've also got some about trauma. I've got, actually, let me see who wrote that. There's Waking the Tiger, which is by Peter Levine. I'm not sure. I wish I remembered all the books I read. I think they land a little bit. I think I keep concepts, but I often forget. Pena. No, that was Neff, was the book about. Pema Chodron, maybe? I don't know. But good morning, Laura. And good morning, everyone who's here. Oh, wow, it's 9:30 already. Time flies when you drink enough half-calf coffee and you're having a good time in community. Anyone else want to share any more gratitude before we head off into our days? I am grateful that I have plans to see You Hurt My Feelings today. New movie that's getting good reviews. I'm going to go see that with a friend later. Wendy says, I believe men and women should be treated equally, but I mean that for the workplace. In life, we have an entire set of emotions that we may not understand from each other. I will never understand how painful it is for a man to get hit below the belt, as a man will never understand what is happening in my body when my baby drinks from my breasts. My cycle starts when I'm in public wearing white pants, talking that. Talking about my cycle is not a thing I want to do in mixed company, so I believe men's and women's groups are needed. There are other types of groups for different types of identities. Right. Whether you consider it to be men and women or masculine or feminine, as Luna Melt, is it Luna that just said that? No, I'm sorry. As Wendy said, there are some issues that are specific to our biology. Discussing menopause or a uterine shedding is something that is going to be a very different topic of conversation depending on the biological experience of one's body. But there's also different experiences based on gender energies, the masculine and the feminine. And that I think gets a little bit more tricky in terms of the more confusing, I don't know if confusing is the right word, in terms of like the less black and white gender identities that we have in the world. But for example, David Dieta has a book, The Way of the Superior Man. And I found it to be incredibly insightful into the mental state and spiritual, psychological state of the feminine. Not necessarily women, but the feminine. And so, for example, the masculine, in the masculine-feminine balance in relationship, the masculine tends to be the anchor, the strength that holds things together, and the feminine is the creative fury, the storm. And if you don't acknowledge that the two are different, then the masculine can witness the feminine and be baffled and upset and resentful. I have had moments in my life when I have witnessed the feminine hormonal storm, we'll say, and I am like, what the fuck did I do to deserve this? Like, I am getting attacked here. I didn't do anything. Like, I'm trying to be nice, and everything I do is being just like thrown at me. And I'm like, and I've had like, fuck this. Fuck you, fuck this. Like, I've tried to be as nice as much as I can. Nobody treats me that way. And I have distanced myself and made myself unavailable to my partner in that moment, and sometimes even in the relationship. Like, I don't want to be in a relationship with someone who will treat me like this. Now, that I felt totally justified in that, until I started to study more about the masculine, feminine, and the storm and the anchor, and you go, oh, the feminine needs to feel safe. The feminine needs the masculine to get hit by the storm and say, I'm not leaving. I got this. And the feminine, without meaning to, without consciously thinking of it, will test the masculine, will push, will try to demonstrate a storm that is aggressive enough that the masculine will say, fuck this. I'm not standing for this. And then the feminine goes, okay, good. I've tested, and you cannot contain me. I'm glad we know. Now we know. But if the masculine can hold the space and continue to be present and not run away and not get caught up in the storm, then the feminine can relax and blossom. And I had a moment, in a previous relationship when I had a partner who had a pretty dramatic monthly storm. And I'd read this book, and as I was being attacked verbally, and as everything in my being was like, get out of here, like run, get away. This doesn't feel good. If you stay too long, you're going to get upset and then you're going to be fighting. So just like get out of this. Instead, I was like, okay, the book said, embrace her, just hold her tight. And she's like, and I'm like, it was like walking, like jumping out of a plane. Like my body's like, don't do it. It's like, this doesn't feel right. I'm like, just like, and I just walked up to her and I held her in a brace and she went, and she just almost immediately started bawling, crying, and just like surrendered into me. And I was like, whoa, like it was like magic. I was like, oh, okay, all right, this is an example of the kind of thing that is not, you don't have this conversation at a party with men and women together. You only learn this in a setting where you're specifically talking amongst men or women and specifically trying to like dig into this stuff and study and take in teachers. So I'm thankful for David Dieta, even though there's now some criticism that he does not take into account trauma. Destin Gerrick's book, The Evolved Masculine, is a good book as far as Dieta's ideas taken a little bit farther and including a trauma-informed approach. But yeah, there is growth and conversations that are so helpful within a restricted gender setting. So may we all weather the storm. May we all find an anchor that can hold us as we storm, whether it be our masculine or our feminine, as we all have, elements of each, and some of it is stronger and some of it is weaker, and sometimes it manifests bigger and smaller, but it is in this interplay that we find opportunity to grow. The Body Knows the Score is one of them, of the books. And then the other one is Waking the Tiger. That's the other book that I have about trauma. Is The Body Knows the Score and Waking the Tiger are the two trauma books I have. And I don't know who wrote The Body Keeps the Score, now that I think about it. I'm looking on my shelf to see if I know where it is. Who knows? Thanks for your patience, Laura. Laura is grateful for the beginning of summer break and time of possibility, a regroup after a very tough school year. Gerbot is grateful for this morning practice. And I am grateful for your patience as I just kind of went on a little side rant. So let's have a hug and then head off into our day. Because of the delay in broadcasting, I'm never quite sure if I've caused a shocking silence or not. But if you were watching this recording, would love to hear what you're grateful for. Luna says, I love the side rants. Well, thank you. Good. I find that for me personally, this venue inspires me to articulate things. So it's part of my practice. So I appreciate it. Elizabeth, hello. Elizabeth says, first time in so long that I could be here, and it was so great. Yay. Well, I'm glad you're here. Hello, Elizabeth. Good morning. And before we do a hug, I'll just remind us that this morning practice, this love morning, is also just a reminder that we're not alone, that there's people all over the world that are just like us, like-minded, open-hearted. And so we get to be love ambassadors as we go through the world and look for the opportunities to be kind, say hello and good morning and connect with people, to be the examples, and to try to discern what is our truth. Can we be authentic in this moment? Are we falling into a pattern that is something that we've been given from the outside? And can we be grateful? Can we find and notice, pay attention to the things that we are blessed by? Wendy is grateful for her mom sitting next to her while we both listen. Well, hello, Wendy's mom. Good morning. Gerbot says, not ranting, it's preaching. Love your sermons, John. Thank you. Actually, thank you for saying that. I will dig deeper in a future day as to why words such as sermons and ministry and congregation on some level resonate deeply with me, and on some level are fearful for me. So, thank you. So, wherever you are, beautiful people, let's give ourselves a squeeze and let's appreciate this moment, appreciate this body, appreciate these connections and this recognition that we are sharing this human journey with so many people, all doing the best we can. And so let's forgive ourselves for the times when the best we got is slipping a bit. Let's forgive others for when the best that they can do is in opposition to what we think they should do or what should be done. And let's sink in that place deep beneath our actions and our thoughts, even to that shared humanity, shared consciousness. And in that oneness, let's sink into that as we take a inhale and squeeze one another. Hold it. On behalf of Grandpa Caleb and all of you, thanks for being here in this love morning as part of Hug Nation. I love you. I urge you to listen to the Stay Sparked podcast, available on all your podcast places. I urge you to subscribe on the Hug Nation YouTube channel. Check out all my stuff at johnston.com, including a free sticker and t-shirts, although this one is no longer available because it didn't the printing didn't work very well. As well as I am opening up some spots for some one-on-one coaching. If that is something that has interest to you, shoot me a note. I'm falling into a place of grounding that I'm expanding my dedicated personal growth path to different forms of service. I mean, there's a number of forms of service that I feel connected to, but I have not been actively coaching lately, but I'm feeling called to do more of that in a individual setting immediately and a group setting soon. So let me know if that is something that you would like some guidance in anything. Let's talk and see if it would be a good fit. So thank you, Laura. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Gerbot. Thank you, Wendy and Elizabeth and Luna. And who else was here that I made this? Emily and Mike and Mingle and John. So nice to get to start the day with you all.